talking about North Carolina, hoping that we have enough gas to get to work, because I need gas. Everybody's still closed. Anyway, Galatians 5:20 is our verse of the day for the day. The Bible is clear. Paul is clear when he says, "It is by grace you are saved, not of yourselves, lest any man should boast." All right. This, it is the gift of God, lest any man should boast. This is a verse that is just compact, yet very much loaded with so many truths about God and His Word and His love and how salvation works. And it's all in this verse, right? Now, here is the question that so many people ask. Maybe you've asked it at some point. How do I know that I'm saved? How do I know that? How can I know that I'm saved? Now, for those of us who have been born again, saved for quite a while, and understand all those things, we don't ever need to take that question for granted or think that it's silly or immature or whatever, because, we don't want to we just don't want to think that way. Because some people are legit asking that question. They're legitimately wondering, how do they know that they are saved? Well, they, and oftentimes, you go through people's story, talk to them or whatever, but this verse really can help a lot as far as them understanding salvation, and you being able maybe to help them along the way of understanding whether they are saved or not, right? Well, here's the deal. The Bible is very, very, very clear that if you are wondering if, as far as your salvation goes, if you're wondering about your salvation because you don't feel that you are good enough and that you haven't done enough, as far as things, what we call works, participation, in church things, maybe you don't understand the Bible a lot, maybe it's hard for you to read the Bible and understand it, maybe the Old Testament just confuses you, and you've tried to study it and that's not working out, and you've attempted to talk to people about salvation and they haven't gotten saved. Maybe you've signed up for 2 or 3 things at the church and they just didn't go or whatever, it's those kind of things that people oftentimes will wonder, well, am I really saved because of those circumstances or those situations? Well, truth is, those things really do not dictate your salvation. They don't dictate whether or not you are saved, right? They don't determine your salvation by, I'm sorry, I'm looking for the thing. They don't determine your salvation. Now, the Bible is so clear, it's by grace you are saved, not of your works, right? It's a gift from God, as this verse says, right? No person can boast and say, and Paul, like he breaks this down, but basically he says no one can say, well, I've done this or I've done that, and to where, well, I know I'm saved because of these things I've done, or I can't be saved because I have done those things. It's very clear that right? It's charity. It's a funny setting it at the bottom, and he says, and they said, well, what are you going to do with that? He says, well, we're going to take this little mini Christmas tree and we're going to sell it to charity, because, you know, when it comes to charity, charity is something you give. It's not something you receive. And so, like, you know, when you give things to charity, whether it's maybe your church, or right now you're working on the Samaritan's Purse Christmas box things, you know, to give to the kids, and you or let's say when you give that give those away, do you worry yourself over getting a thank you from those kids? Do you stay up late at night going, they better send me a card, somebody better thank me, somebody better acknowledge that I've given this, you know, I better get some kind of payment for this. Who's going to pay me back for the toys I bought for these kids? Is that you? No, there's no, that's not even on your mind at all, because you're giving to charity, right? Well, God's grace is just that. It's where we get our it's charity. It's the fact that it's not by grace. It's by grace you are saved, not of your works, lest any man should boast. It's the gift of God, and it's his charity work. He has no expectation of being paid back. First of all, because he knows you can't, and that's why he gave it in the first place. He gave what he has, his son, for the right reasons, with the right motives, because he knows that we could not afford salvation on our own. So I hope that helps with one of the bigger questions that a lot of people have. How do I know that I'm saved? Well, if you're basing that question on the good things versus bad things you've done, you can go ahead and take that part out of the equation of salvation. It's not part of it, because it's by grace you are saved, not of yourselves. It is a gift of God, lest any man should boast. So I hope that helps a little bit, you guys. That's our thoughts on Scripture for today. I hope you have a good one.